so that you can get up and running quickly with the Lynker product. I'm going to show you how to set everything up. There are a number of steps involved in this process, from registering with the IoT server to installing everything. At the end of this, you'll be able to connect from your local computer to a remote controller. So let's get started. Okay, so now it's time to set up a company inside the IoT server. So head over to iot.touchpanelcontrol.com and you will be presented with this login screen. If you haven't got an account already, then click on the create account, and within this we will start to capture some of your information. So go ahead and enter your first name, last name, also the email address that you want to have associated with your login, and then give yourself a password for that login as well. Once you've entered in those details, press the next button. You will then be asked to register your company or enter in a company name. So if we enter in Touch Panel Control, and then you'll be given the opportunity to select the subdomain. Now, one thing to note is that there is only one subdomain available per domain or company name to a degree. So if you to enter TPC, you will see in this case that TPC is already taken. And if I was to enter in TPC4, it'll allow me to create that subdomain. I have read the terms of use in the privacy policy, and now I'm ready to go and create my company. So on this page, once we're logged in, you'll notice TPC4, which is the subdomain that we've just created for our company, and we're presented with this dialog box that says to us, you need to create a project. So as it says, projects give you the flexibility of keeping all your devices, rules, people in one easy to manage section. So if we go ahead and create a project, in this particular example I will call this the TPC office. So any tunnel that I add from this point on, I can associate that with the TPC office. Go ahead and click the add project button. It will tell me that the TPC office has been created, and I'll also see the TPC office in my company dashboard here on the left hand side. If I wanted to go ahead and create a new project, I can do so by clicking the create new project button, but for this example we'll just stay on the TPC office. So now that we have our company set up, you'll notice that we have no items in the tunnel list / device list. So to go ahead and create a new tunnel, we'll hit the green button. We will have the device type as a tunnel. We'll have the name of the tunnel. In this particular case, I wanted to point it to a controller that is, just get that right, controller that is on the 212 IP address that we have here in the office. I won't worry about the MAC address, it's not needed. And you can also select an icon if you wish. We'll just keep it as the server stack. As a default, we'll provide you with a stock standard number of services that would connect up into that controller. So you've got your standard ICSP, your Telnet SSH and FTP. If you wanted to add HTTP as an example, all you will need to do is click on the add service button. Type in HTTP or whatever it is that you want to call it. If you wanted to call it, say, a webcam that you have exposed on that device, or if it's a web server running off a different port, you could enter that service name into there, and we'll leave it as ASCII, and we'll just point it to port 8080 in this case. So once you've entered in those details, you click the save button. Once it's created successfully, you'll be given the API key and a device key. Now these are important, so if you just want to grab these, copy these, stick them in Notepad or whatever it is that you might have, and we'll come back and reference those later. So we'll click OK, and then you will see that we have our controller. It is placed in the list and it's not active because we've got actually no endpoint on that device just yet. And there's a few other options like view, edit, delete if you wanted to delete those. Okay, so now that we have a linker tunnel created within the IoT platform, it's time for us to download the Duet module and install it on a controller. So if you jump over to linker.touchpanelcontrol.com and head over to the downloads section, you'll find a number of items in this download. So the one we're after in this particular demonstration is the AMX controller. So we'll go ahead and we'll click on that and it will download for us. Just a note, there's a couple of other items here. The linker client, we'll come back to that one later in this video. And there's also some downloads of the linker tunnel of the provider for different systems. So in this particular case, you have Raspberry Pi, Linux-based systems, or Windows-based systems. And if you head over to the configuration examples, you'll see an example there on how to set those up. So now that that is downloaded, we'll go ahead and open it up in NetLink Studio. I'll extract it to a location that I've created previously, and the workspace will open up. Side of the workspace, there's just two items. We have the linker Duet module there underneath the module, and then we also have the main code base as a template that we've provided for you. Inside of this main template, you will notice that there is a tunnel API key and a device ID key. Now these are the ones that were provided to us previously when we created the tunnel. So I've copy and pasted those into a notepad document that I had open. So I'm just going to grab that API key and put it in the API key section here, and then I'll also create the device key that was created and I'll put it inside of the device. Then we'll go ahead and we will build this project. And then we'll go ahead and we'll push the files over. Just double checking, yep, that's all good. So we'll send those over to the controller. Okay, now that that's finished moving over to the controller, we'll enable the diagnostics so you can see what's going on. So as the controller is loading up, we'll eventually see the linker module loading. So there you go, so it's loading up. And if it's successful with connecting back into the IoT server, we'll be able to see a list of the devices that or services that we have active to us. If you remember, there they are. If you remember, they were Telnet, the SSH, FTP, HTTP. So now I should be able to see, and there it is. If I go back to the IoT server, this particular tunnel is now active and waiting for communication from the client. So now that we have the tunnel created and the tunnel communicating with the IoT server, we can go ahead and download the linker client. So if you head back over to linker.touchpanelcontrol.com/downloads and find the particular client for your PC. So in my case, it's a Win64. We'll wait for that to download. There it is, so Win64, and we'll just go ahead and launch the linker client. And there we'll have, so it's defaulted to what I had opened before. So the linker client will load up and we'll put in the details that we signed up with. So in this case, it was German_4 touchpanelcontrol.com. Now that you can see the linker client's connected and it shows you the controller there, says that we're connected to it, and then it gives you the services that are available. So in this particular case, we'll do a really simple test, and this is where the magic happens from the client. Is we'll open up a command prompt, and in this case I will telnet over to my local host. So if I go telnet 127.0.0.0.1, so if you remember, the linker client enables a loopback connection back onto itself, which is then forwarded onto our remote host. So in this case, it's telnet to 127.0.0.1. Just put the IP address, the port number in, hit connect, and we're on our controller. and there's the details. As you see, the physical IP address is 212, and we are connected through to an NI 700, and that shows you how to register a company, create a tunnel, install the Duet module on a controller, and then from that point move forward and then connect with the client. And we also showed you an example of how to use Telnet, how to get to that server.